This conference will now be recorded.
Today we have seen how to pass select option, that is how to pass a range of values as input to what smart form. And we have seen the loop object. As part of that loop object, we have seen that event on at end on sort of begin and on end. Okay, nothing but called as control break events. Right. So in continuation to that, let us see this example. So the requirement is something like this. Okay, so we should pass sales document net value. Understood? The input we have to pass is sales document net value. Okay, so based on the sales document net value, get the sales orders from what VBAK table. So in the VBAK table, we have a field called as NETWR. If I give the NETWR as 10,000, I should pass this NETWR as a parameter to what smart form, right? So in the smart form, I should get the sales orders header data of those sales document whose net value is what greater than the input net value. If I give the net value as 10,000, I should get the sales orders whose net value is greater than the input value. And I should display the data in the tabular format. Okay, and apart from 5 database columns, what are the 5 database columns here? Sales document number, creation date, creation time, created by, and net value. Okay, so apart from these 5 columns, I want one more column, that is non-database column. Non-database column means the data will not be retrieved from the database. We have to construct the value for that column manually. What is that column? Serial number. So I should display the serial number column there. Okay. And another validation is per page, I should display only what 10 sales orders. Okay, so I may have n number of sales orders, but in each page, I should display only what 10 sales orders, and yeah, I should display only 10 sales orders, and that has to be displayed in the tabular format. Okay, so let's see how to do it. So in the VBAK table, if you go to ABAP dictionary, table VBAK, sales document header data, sales document data. So what are the fields I have to show? Well, sales document number, creation date, creation time, created by. Another field is what? VBAK table. We have a field called as NETWR. What is this? Net value of the sales order. So if I go to contents, how many records are there in this? 68 records are there. 68 records. Okay. So let me filter this 68 records. I want to check the data based on NETWR. NETWR, net value of the sales order. So if I go to contents, do we have NETWR here? No, we don't have the NETWR. So how do you change the selection screen? Already we know. Choose the menu settings, fields for selection. Listen, since I am unable to filter the data based on a particular column, this particular table has got what, around 228 fields. We cannot show all the 228 fields here. So I want to filter the data based on what? NETWR. So how do you do it? You go to settings menu, fields for selection. There are some of the fields selected. I'll also select what? NETWR, net value. Select NETWR, continue. Yeah, NETWR, you can see I got net value. This one. So let us filter the data, right? So what I want to see all the sales orders whose the net value is what greater than 10,000. So how do I, or greater than 1 lakh? How do I filter it? You can see it. This is nothing but a select option. This is nothing but a select option. So if I click on what multiple selection, right? Multiple selection. Here you can see we have to give the value for the options push button. So if I click on this, right? So what is that I want to give greater than or equal to? What is the value I want to give? 1 lakh. So let me give the net value as 1 lakh. Yeah, this is 1 lakh. Done. Continue. Execute. How many sales orders are there greater than 1 lakh? Number of entries, how many are there? 5 are there. If I execute, it is showing those 5 sales orders whose net value is what? Greater than 1 lakh. Okay, similarly, let me show the sales orders whose net value is greater than what 2 lakhs. Okay, I'll just click on this. I'll give it as 2 lakhs here. Okay, what is the option value? Greater than equal to. Execute. Number of entries. How many are there? 5 are there. Execute. Yeah, they are the 5 records. Okay. Let me give greater than 5 lakhs. Yeah. Okay, these one records are there. Okay. Let me give greater than 15 lakhs. Only 2 entries are there. Execute. So what is the meaning here? In the VBAK table, so I'll go to Smart Form transaction code. Give the Smart Form name as something Z as form 4. 8. In the form attributes, as usual, we'll give the description. So I'll just give the description here. Some description. So how do you pass parameters to the smart form? Through what? Form interface. Okay, we have to pass parameters to the smart form through form interface. Understood? So what is that you have to pass? Net value. Net value means we have to what? Refer to which field? NETWR. I can refer to the data element, or I can directly refer to the table name hyphen field name. Okay, so what is the data element here? NETWR underscore AK. Right, so let me do it. So to this smart form, I'll go to the form interface. In the form interface, I'll pass the NETWR. So I'll say I underscore NETWR, right? Can refer to what? Either table name hyphen field name. Understood? I can refer either to the table name hyphen field name, or you can refer to the data element. Anything is fine. So in your earlier we used to refer to what? Table name hyphen field name. Let me refer to what? Data element. What is the data element there? NETWR underscore AK. So NETWR underscore AK. So the associated type can be a direct data type, or it can be a structure field. I'm going to say table field, or I can refer to the data element. So we are passing net value as an input. I am not selecting the optional checkbox. No? So what does it mean? It is nothing but mandatory parameter. That will be mandatory done. So what is the next requirement here? In the smart form, I should display this I should display the 6 columns. Out of the 6 columns, 5 columns are database columns. Another column is what? It is a non-database column. Serial number. The values for this serial number column we have to construct manually. So first of all, what are the 5 database columns? Sales document number, date, time, name of the person, NETWR. So as usual, since there is a possibility of retrieving multiple records. Why multiple records? Because we are going to retrieve the sales orders whose net value is greater than the given input net value. So obviously you may have one or more records. So obviously I should go for what? Yeah, I should go for what? Internal table. So what is the process of declaring internal table in the smart form level? In the global definitions, as part of this types structure, I'll create the type structure. Let me say types begin of what? Ty underscore VBAK. I'll take some fields. Veblen type VBAK hyphen Veblen. Then I'll take another fields like creation date ERDAT type EBAK hyphen ERDAT. I'll take another field ERZDT type EBAK hyphen ERZDT. Then another field ERNAM EAK hyphen ERNAM. I'll take the net value NETWR type VBAK hyphen NETWR closes. End of what? TY underscore VBAK. Right. So I created the type structure with the required 5 database columns. Done. Let me save it. So based on this types structure, I require an internal table and a work area. So as usual, I'll go to global data and declare the internal. Understood? Already we know this process. First create the required fields in the type structure in the type strap. Based on this local type structure, we have to declare the internal table and work area. So I'll give the internal table name as something T underscore VBAK table of table of what is the type name ty underscore VBAK. Then W underscore VBAK ty underscore VBAK. So I declared what? Yeah, I declared internal term and work area. And then based on this, what is the input value we are passing? Net value. So I have to get the sales orders whose net value is greater than given input net value. So as usual, where do you write the select query here? In the global definitions, I'll go to what? Initialization tab. What is the input parameter? I underscore NETWR. What is the output parameter? The internal table where we are going to retrieve. T underscore VBA. Done. Then here I will say VLN, ERDAT, ERZDT, ERNAM, and what? NETWR from VBAK into table T underscore VBAK, retrieving the data from sales order header table into the internal table where NETWR is greater than or equal to the given input value I underscore NETWR. Understood? So I retrieve the data into the internal table, save it, check for the syntax error. Yeah, I don't have any errors. Yeah. Before I continue, any questions so far? So what I did, I'm passing sales document net value as input. Earlier we used to refer to the structure field. That is table name hyphen field name. I can do like this, or I can refer to what? Data element, or I can refer to the direct data type. Generally, if you are referring to the database fields, generally we don't provide the direct data type. Either we'll refer to the structure field or we'll refer to the data element. So earlier two examples, I refer to the structure field. Now wantedly I'm referring to a data element. It's our wish. It is a mandatory parameter. So based on this net value, I have to get the sales orders header data, which includes the 5 database columns from VBAK table. So for that reason, I created the global definitions in the types and the required database columns. Then based on this type structure, I declare the internal table work area. And then in the initialization tab, I wrote the select query. Yeah, any questions so far? So what is the next requirement after this? Based on this particular what? This internal table data. Okay, this internal table data we need to display. We need to display it in what tabular format. Okay, so what we have done earlier in the main window. So whenever you want to display what internal table data, what you have done in the earlier two examples, as part of this main window, we right clicked on the main window. I created what flow. I went to what loop object. I created the loop object. So here also, if I go for creating the loop object, what you have to do? You have to provide the internal table and work area so that each record will be iterated to the work area. From work area to display the content, what you have done as part of the loop object, we have created the text element. In the text element, we display the content from the work area. But now I want the data in which format? Yes, tabular format. Tabular format. Okay. So for that reason, I will not directly create the loop object. So I'll right click on the loop, I'll say delete. Okay, I've deleted the loop object. So since I want it in the tabular format, what I'll do, I'll right click on the main window, I'll say create what table. What is the object I'm trying to create? Table object. Right click on the main window, create table. Create table. Yeah. See, the moment I create the table object, three subnodes got created under the table object. What are they? Header, main area, and footer. So I can say table can be classified into three sections: header, main area, and footer. Header we can use to display the headings, to display the column headings. Main area is the one where we populate the actual content. In the footer, if you want to do any totals kind of thing at the end of the table, we can go for a footer. Right. So in this case, if you see this, I'm interested only in the header section and in the main area. I don't want any footer. I don't want to show any content in the footer. In the next example, we'll see what kind of content we show it in the footer. So as of now, I want only header area and what main area. Anyhow, by default, what three subnodes gets created: header, main area, and what footer. Now you can see here as part of this table object. As part of the table object, in the table tab right hand corner, in the table tab right hand corner, by default one line type will be available. What is the line type name here? Percentage L type. It is in 28%. I'll just increase the size to something 75%. So or I'll increase the percentage to 100%. So what happened here? As part of the table object, in the table tab, by default one line type is available. One line type is called as a percentage L type 1. L type 1. Okay. But if you see the address section, how many cells we require? 6 cells. No? Serial number, sales document number, date, time, person, and NEWR. 6 cells. Main area also, each record should be divided into how many cells? 6 cells. 6 cells. So what are the line type it is showing by default? It has got only one cell. So let me divide this into what 6 cells. Okay, what is the line type name by default? Percentage L type. So how do you draw 6 cells? By default, this entire thing is one cell only. But I have to show it as what 6 cells. So this line type I'll divide into what 6 cells. So how to do it? You can see there is a button here. Draw lines and columns. In the table tab only at the bottom above this line type, there's a pencil icon here. Draw lines and columns. Right, so if I click on this, I can draw the lines and columns. So I'll draw it manually. This is one cell, this is another cell, 2 cells, third cell, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll take what 6 cells. So overall, how many cells I have drawn? If I click on this button, again the icon will be right. So how many cells we have drawn in the default line type? 6 cells. 6 cells. Understood? Right. So I want to reserve equal width for each of these cells. Understood? I have drawn 6 cells manually, but you can observe here, you can visualize here, each cell has got different width. I want to what? Allocate equal size width for all the 6 cells. So what I'll do, as part of the table tab on the right hand side, you can see there is a button called as details. Switch to the details. Understood? If I click on the details button, yeah, you can see here. Observe this here. So you can see here. What is the line type here? Percentage L type 1. Yeah, you can see first cell is 2.12 centimeter, second cell is 1.93 centimeter, third cell is so and so. Overall table width is how many here? 16 centimeter. Overall table width is 16 centimeter. Okay, so I'll do one thing. Out of this 6 columns, Veblen, date, time, name of the database column, this is serial number. So for serial number, let me reserve some less width. And for other columns, I'll reserve what more width. So what I'll do here, this I'll say as 1 centimeter. This I'll say 3 centimeter. This again 3 centimeter. This again 3. This again 3. We have one more. No? Go back to table painter. Width of row type exceeds table width. 3, 3, 3. You can see here. If I click on this, it is showing. So this also I'll say what? Listen. So 3.5 is that. So I'll make it as 3. So 15, right? 15 and first cell how many? If you click on this column left, first cell is what? Only 1 centimeter. Database columns are what? 3 into 5. 15 plus 1. 16 overall. Done. So if I click on table painter, it is not giving me there. So understood, I have divided that into what? Different width. First cell wanted like 1 centimeter because I have to show serial number. The other one reserved what? Some 5 centimeter. Understood? So you can go to details, but you can control the width of what? Each cell. And what is the line type name it is showing by default here? Percentage L type 1. If you want to rename the line type, you can rename. I can right click on this percentage L type 1. What is this here? Rename line is there. It's not compulsory step, it is your wish. Okay. If you want, you can rename. So I can just rename. Default line type name is percentage L type 1. Rename it as what? Line type 1. Part of my table, I'm designing only one line type. Only one line type. Listen, only one line type. Because that line type only I want to associate for the header and what? Main area. So I got one line type. Line type 1, it has got 6 cells. Done. Okay, any questions so far? Right. Then as part of the table object in the table tab, what you have done? By default, it was showing one line type with one cell. I have drawn only 6 cells. To control the width of each cells, I went to details button. Here I control. Am I clear? Done. So let me come back to the table painter. Right. Now in the table object level itself, we have another tab here, data tab. Okay, if I go to data tab, here it is asking the internal table name and work area. What is the internal table name in our context? T underscore VBAK into work area. What is the W underscore VB? So in the data tab, we have to specify the internal table and what work area. That's it. So we have used two tabs, table tab and what data tab. In the data tab, we have to specify into work area. Done. Now, so header should be divided into how many cells? 6 cells. Main area also should be into how many cells? 6 cells. So already we have one line type which has got 6 cells. Huh? So what I'll do, if I expand header, nothing is there. As of now, if I expand main area, nothing is there. So what you have to do is, I'll right click on the header. Okay, I'll right click on the header. I'll say create table line. Right click on the node header. Create what? Table line. So I'll say create table line. Good. Right? So in the output options tab here, it is asking output table line type. We have only one line type at the table level. So if you click on drop down, what is the line type name? Line type 1. This line type 1 has got how many cells? 6 cells. Now. So I'll just choose line type 1. Yes, you can see I got what? 6 cells. Cell 1 to what? Cell 6. Understood? Because the line type 1 we have divided into how many cells? 6 cells. Okay, so 6 cell objects got created as part of what? Header. Now what you have to do? In this header section, I have to show the column names, serial number, sales document, like this, whatever you want, you can show. Okay, so how do you show the content? You have to create the text object. So under each cell, right click on each cell. Okay, I'll say create what? Text object got created. So in the text object level, in the general attributes, if you click on this web properties, if you click on general attributes, so in the text object level, right, I should show the text. So as usual, I'll go to what? Text editor. This is text editor. And here you provide the text whatever you want. Go to change editor. What is that I want to show you? Serial number. Okay, done. Go back. This is one text. Then for the cell to also right click on this, create one text. Text object got created. Here only I can directly, it's a hard coded text only, so I can directly provide. So I'll say sales document. Is it appearing here? If I click on what? Text editor. Go to change editor. Sales document. Okay, I can directly type there. Okay, so these are my text. And then right click on the cell 3, create what? Text. Yeah, I'll give the column heading as something date. Then right click on the cell 4, create. Right click on cell 5, create text objects. Create text object. I'll give the column heading as something network. We have created one line type referring to the default line type which we had, line type 1. Since it is associated 6 cells, 6 cell objects got created. Under each cell object, I created some text element to show the column headings. I have associated some column headings. Yeah, any questions so far? Okay. Next, in the main area, in the main area also have to show the content. So content is coming to this work area now. In the table object level, in the data type, we specify the internal work area. Each record will come to work area. So what I will do, since the main area also I have to show 6 cells, right click on the main area, create what? Table line. Table line is created. Right, so table line is created for the main area, not it created. So while creating the table line, it is asking the line type. So what is the only line type available? Line type 1. It is divided how many cells? 6 cells. To cell 12, because already cell 1 to 6 is available in the data. If you want to rename, you can rename. So under each of this cell, what you have to do? Under each of this cell, we have to construct what? We have to associate the data. For serial number, we have to construct the data. Right? So let's see that. So 6 cell objects got created as part of what? Main area of the table. Yeah. So in this serial number, what I have to do? I have to construct what? The serial number. Na? So what I'll do here, since the serial number is not a database column, we have to manually construct the value for the serial number. So what I'll do is, in the global definitions, right, I'll declare one variable v underscore serial number, v underscore serial number type I. So for in this cell 7, in cell 7, I have to construct the logic for this serial number. So how do you write the ABAP coding here? You have to create the program lines. Yesterday we have seen. When you create the program lines, a code object gets created. So under this cell 7, I'll right click, I'll say create flow logic program lines. So whenever you want to write any ABAP code, you have to create what? Program lines. When you create program lines, what happens? The code object gets what? Created. You can see code object got created. So as part of this code object, I'll give the input parameter is what? V underscore serial number. Output parameter is again what? V underscore serial number. Here I'll write the logic. What is that? V underscore serial number equal to V underscore serial number plus 1. Incrementing that by what? 1. That's all. This is my ABAP code. Let me save it. Check for the syntax. As of now, no errors. Then once we construct the serial number, you have to display it. For displaying, I require the text object. So I right click on cell 7, create what? Text object. First, the text object it is showing. But first, you have to construct the value for serial number. Then we have to create what? Text object. So I'll change the positions. I'll just drag this text 7 after this code. Yeah. So as part of this text, I have to show the value of what? What? I have to show the value of what? Serial number. Okay, so as usual, I'll go to this. How do you show the content of any field? We have to enclose that field in what? Ampersand. So I'll choose go to change editor. Here I'll say ampersand. What is the variable? V underscore serial number. Okay, so this is your manually constructed column value, serial number. Then in the rest of the columns, I should show the database column values, no, which is coming through this work area. So I'll right click on select, create what? Text. Understood? Create text. So what I have to do here, I have to show the data from the work area. Already in the data tab, we specified the internal work area. So what I will do here, actually I think I can do like this. Right, if I click on insert field, actually what we are doing, we are going to text editor, right? We are going to text editor and we are choosing go to change editor. We are giving manual like that, ampersand w underscore vbak hyphen what? VBN and ampersand. So instead of you giving manually, okay, so if it is hardcore text, I can directly type it here. But since But since it is a field value, you can see there is a button here, insert field. Understood? How do you see the fields? On the application toolbar, already we have seen this button. Field is on or off. If you click on this field is on or off, right? In the global data only, what is that field we have? VBL and all those things. So how do you insert the field here? I'll click on insert field. Yeah, it is asking me this, so I can directly hear it. Ampersand what? W underscore VBAK hyphen web. Then I'll right click on cell line, create one text. Text object got created. Now I have to show the here DA. Right. So in the earlier versions, we had the drag and drop facility. Understood? I can click on this ER data, I can drag and drop it here. It is not allowing me drag and drop here. So I'll just click on what? Insert field. Yeah, what is that? Ampersand W underscore VBAK hyphen ER8. As part of the cell 10, create what? Text object. What do you have to show here? Time. RZET. So I'll click on insert field, ampersand what? W underscore VBAK hyphen ERZET. I click on this, create what? Text. Ampersand W underscore VBAK hyphen name of the person. And create what? Text. What is the final column? NAT WR. So I'll just click on insert field. So header is completed, main area is complete. Footer I am not using as of now. Let it be like this. That's all. Let me save it. Check for the syntax. I don't have any errors. I'll try to activate the smartphone. That it is successfully activated. So it would have generated the function module, right? So any questions so far? Right. So first let us write the driver program. This program Z call as form 3. Copy to Z call as form 4. So what is that input you have to pass? Sales document net value you have to pass only one value. So I don't require select. Read the input parameters P underscore NETWR type AK, or I can refer to the table name hyphen field. So first you have to get the smart form function module name dynamically. So what is the name of the smart form? In our case, ZS form 4. Name of the smart form is ZS form 4. So if I pass the smart form name as input to this function model, it will return the associated function model. So it will return, yeah, I'm calling the smart form function model. In our smart form, in the form interface, in the import section, we pass one parameter. So import means while calling becomes export. It is a mandatory parameter. I have not selected the optional checkbox. It is a mandatory parameter. What is that parameter? I underscore LTWR. So instead of tables and so on, exporting, import becomes export. What is that parameter? I underscore NETWR equal to the input value which you are reading. P underscore NETWR. That's all. So save it, check for the syntax, activate. We wrote the driver program, right? Execute this. Okay, I'll give the net value as something 1 lakh. It is not so in the tabular format. Okay, it is not so appearing in the tabular format. So what I'll do is I'll go back to my smart form, right? So in the table object level, right? So you can see there is a button here. What is this? Select pattern. In the table tab, you can see we have what is called select pattern. If I click on select pattern, it is showing different patterns here. I'll go for a display framed patterns. I'm not interested in these patterns. I'll go for display framed patterns. Yeah, I think this is more suited. I'll just choose the second one. Done. Okay, let me save it. Check for the syntax and activate this. Right, it is activated. Let me execute the driver program once again. I'll give the net value as 1 lakh. Execute. LP01. Print preview. Yeah, you can see I got the data in the what tabular format, serial number, sales document, date, time, person. So serial number column is not sufficient there. So you adjust sizes accordingly. Make like you say adjust it accordingly. So what I'll do is let me check whether I can align it properly. I'll go to the smart form. I'll go to the table section. If I go to details button, what is the table width it is showing by default? 16 centimeter. 16 centimeter. Okay. So what is the window width here? Understood. In the main window, what is the window width here? 16 centimeter. Okay. So I'll just change this window width to 18 or else I can go to the form painter. Understood. In the form painter also I can do it manually. Right? This is my main window. I can just increase the width here. Is it clear? So I'll just increase this to so and so. Okay. Just click on the form painter again. It is increased to 17.87. I'll do one thing. Let me try to change it to something 22 centimeter. Let me check. I'm changing it 22 centimeter. Window width, I'm changing it to 22 centimeter. I'll come back to the table width. In the table tab, if I go to details, this also I'll give it as what 22. 22. Okay. Then what I'll do, this first cell I'll give it as 2 centimeter, right? And the rest of the cells I'll give it as 4, 4, 4, 4. This also I'll give it as what 4. Let me check whether it is okay or not. Save it. Check for the syntax error. Window main does not fit onto one page, so it is not. The width is too large. Understood? The width is too large. So I'll go to main window, right? I'll go to output options. I'll change it to something what 20 centimeter, right? I'll change it to 20 centimeter. Then I'll come back to the table width, right? In the table section, this also I'll get as what 20. Understood? 20 I'll give. Then what I'll do, this what first cell, let it be 2. Okay, this I'll give it as something 3.5. 3.5. This I'll give it as 3.5. This again 3.5. What 3.5? This the last one. Input must be in the format of cell. It's not allowing it. Might be have to give it as comma. Then it will recurring as a 3,5. Let's see when the I'll do 3.5 done. Then come back to the table, see details. First one I'll give it as 2.5. Okay, so 3.5 into 5, 17.5. This is 2.5, 20. So let me check now. Save it. Check for the syntax error. Width of row type, line type does not match total table width. Right? 2.5, 3.5 here, 3.5, 3.5, and the last one, I have 4 here. I'll change it to 3.5. Let me save it. Check for the syntax error. Yeah, understood. So adjust it manually. Activate this. So let's see whether the alignment is okay or not. So if I go back and check, activate and execute, I'll give the value as 1 lakh, execute. LP01, print preview. Yeah, you can see I got the data. Understood. Serial number, sales document, date, time, person, and what? Net value I got. I got it in the tabular format. Okay, so each page I have to show only what 10 sales orders. Suppose here I'll go back. I'll give this as something what instead of 1 lakh, I'll give it as 10,000. When I execute, I give 10,000. LP01, print preview. Yes, only, yeah, how many I got? Only 8 records are there. Only 8 records. So if I scroll down, only 8 records are there. If I say page down also, nothing is coming because you can see the title here, 1 of 1. Only maximum what? 1 page generated. Only 8 entries are there. I give how much? 10,000. I'll give it as 5,000. Execute. LP01, print preview. Yeah, page 1 of 1. How many entries? Around 15 entries only. Around 15 entries are. Am I clear? So it is not extending more than 1 page. So, but what is that I want? In each page, I want only what? 10. So I got 15 here. So first 10 records should come in the first page. The remaining 5 I should get in what? Second page. That is what is my validation. Per page, I should display only 10 sales orders. So let us see how to control that. Before I do that, any questions so far? Okay. So now, when the control should go to second page, once 10 lines are reached in each page, it has to go to the next page. That is the requirement. Okay, per page only 10 rows. Okay, 10 lines. So what I'll do is, in the smart form level, by default in the pages and windows section, you will have only one page. Now, what is the name of the page? Page 1. So now what I'll do, I'll try to create another page. Okay, so I'll right click on page 1. I'll say create what? Page. Let's right click on that, create page. Right, I'll give the, what is that page name by default? Percentage page 2. Leave it like this. Done. So I created one more page. Now what I'll do is, In page 1, come back to the main window, right? So the main area content should flow across multiple pages. Understood? Main area content should flow across multiple pages. Assume that I want only 5 rows instead of 10 rows. I want only 5 rows per page. So what I'll do in page 1, as part of the table main area, I'll right click on this. Understood? In the main area, already we have the line type and all this. I'll right click on the main area. I'll say create flow logic. What is this command object? Am I clear? So as part of table main area, and why main area? Because main area content should flow across what? Multiple pages. So as part of table main area, I'll create what? Command object. I'll create the command object. What is the purpose of command object? To impose conditional page break, we'll go for a command object. Okay, so right click on the main area, create flow logic command object. So when I create this, what happened? A command object got created. Okay, so now as part of the command object, we have our conditions tab. Go to conditions tab. Listen, in the conditions tab, here, I have to give the condition means before that. Before that, what I'll do in the global definitions, I'll take one variable v underscore flag type what? Character 1. Equal to the character 1. Now, somewhere we are constructing the value for the serial number. Na? Right. Here we are constructing the value for what? Serial number. So, see what is the logic I'll do. After every fifth row, instead of 10 rows, now I'm saying 5 rows. So after every 5 rows, it has to go to the second page. So I'll declare one local variable. So far, we have declared the global variables. If I declare anything in the global data, I can use it anywhere in the smart form. Now, in this code object where I am constructing the physical, I'll declare a local variable. So I'll say something data lv underscore count. So here I'll say lv underscore count equal to v underscore serial number mod what I'll say 5 mod 5. I'm trying to divide by what? 5. If count is 0, if count is equal to mod will return the remainder. Mod will return the remainder. So if the serial number value is 5, right? 5 mod 5 is what? Remainder is what? 0. Understood? Suppose the serial number value is 4. 4 mod 5. What is the remainder? The remainder is what? 4. So at that time, if condition is not satisfied, if count equal to 0, I'll say v underscore flag equal to x. Else, I declare as character in else, I'll set v underscore flag equal to what? Space. So I wrote some ABAP coding here. What is that? I'm incrementing the serial number by 1. And every time I'm getting the remainder of that by dividing with 5. I want only 5 rows per page. So that's the reason. Mod will return what? Remainder. Okay. So for every fifth row, count value becomes 0. Na? 5 mod 5 is what? 0. 10 mod 5 is what? 0. 15 mod 5 is what? 0. 5 is 15, remainder is what? 0. So for every fifth record, count value becomes what? 0. At that time, I'm setting the flag value as what? X. So save it. Check for the syntax error. What is that? V underscore flag is unknown, right? In the global definitions, I declared now. Might be I need to activate this, then you get it. So V underscore flag type C. Acha. So what I'll do